25 short horror stories that will mess with your mind. Night is strange. When the world falls silent, when the lights go out, when everyone else is asleep, some stories begin. These are not legends, they are moments. Tiny fragments of horror that appear without warning. And sometimes, they stay with you forever. This morning I woke up both confused and terrified. My husband brought me breakfast in bed. My children handed me drawings that said, "Happy 35th birthday, Mom." Everyone was smiling. Everyone looked happy, which would have been sweet if yesterday I hadn't celebrated my 17th birthday with my parents. I'm always hungry. No matter how much my mom feeds me, I'm still starving. My stomach hurts from hunger, and I can't sleep at night. Mom says something might be wrong with me. Tomorrow we're going to the doctor. Maybe she's right, I thought to myself, while finishing the last bite of my 3-month-old baby brother. At least now, I'm full. I went fishing with my girlfriend, and we decided to spend the night in a tent. In the morning I woke up and crawled outside. My girlfriend was sitting in the car, calmly drinking coffee from a thermos. "You were freezing cold last night when I hugged you," I told her. She stared at me for a long moment, and then quietly said, "I slept in the car all night. I never went inside the tent. I live alone." Before falling asleep one night, I said out loud, "Good night." Immediately, from somewhere in the darkness, a whisper replied, "And sweet dreams. You live on the 6th floor of an apartment building. One day you look out the window and see people casually walking past your window." After burying his mother, a young man returned home from the cemetery. He walked into his room and sat down on his bed. From the kitchen, he suddenly heard a familiar voice, "Son, come eat." A little girl threw a stone into an abandoned well. She listened carefully as the stone fell deep into the darkness. But instead of hearing it land, something threw a stone back at her. A pathologist quit his job after one disturbing incident. A body arrived at the morgue, a man with his head completely severed. The body had been stored in the refrigerator for 2 days. Before beginning the autopsy, the pathologist carefully stitched the head back onto the body. Suddenly, the corpse opened its eyes. It looked directly at him. With blue, lifeless lips, it whispered, "How do I look?" You wake up in the middle of the night to drink some water. You walk to the kitchen, you drink. Then you return to your bedroom, and when you reach your bed, you see yourself sleeping in it. During a funeral, the coffin was about to be lowered into the grave. Suddenly loud knocking sounds came from inside the coffin. The men panicked and quickly unscrewed the lid. Inside was the same stiff, lifeless body. Nothing had changed. Confused, they closed the coffin again and lowered it into the ground. A fortune teller once told a woman that her son would drown at the age of 8. At the time, he was 5. From that day on, she watched him constantly. She warned him about water. She protected him every moment. 3 years later, the boy turned 8. One summer day, they went to their countryside house. The boy was playing outside under his mother's watch. But when she briefly went inside the house and came back, she saw a horrifying sight. Near the garden fence were large buckets filled with water. Her son was kneeling in front of one of them. His head was inside the bucket. A man was riding his motorcycle on a dark highway at night. Suddenly, he saw a girl walking along the roadside. He stopped and offered her a ride. Without saying a word, she climbed onto the motorcycle behind him. After a few minutes, he felt something wet and slippery touching his neck. He turned his head. Instead of a human face, the girl had the head of a horse. He screamed and lost control of the motorcycle. When he hit the ground and looked around, the girl was gone. Shaking, he started the motorcycle and sped away. Then up ahead, he saw her again, standing on the side of the road, smiling, waving for another ride. One night my dog woke me up by jumping onto my bed. Half asleep, I lifted the blanket so it could crawl underneath and lie by my feet. Then suddenly I opened my eyes. My heart started pounding. My dog had been hit by a car 3 days ago. So what is lying under my blanket? A security guard came to work for the night shift. Inside the guard room, he saw his partner sleeping on the bed. He made himself some coffee and sat down to check the visitor log. Suddenly the phone rang. He picked it up. It was his partner. "I can't make it to work tonight," the voice said. Slowly, the guard turned his head toward the bed. The man lying there was no longer asleep. He was staring directly at him, smiling. Today, I saw a man who looked strangely familiar. Then I remembered, we used to work together many years ago. The only strange thing is, I'm 64 years old now. And he looks exactly the same as he did 30 years ago. At night it got cold, and I tried to pull the blanket over myself in my sleep, but someone gently tucked it around me and stroked my head. I couldn't fall asleep again. Because I live alone. One Christmas, a small boy didn't receive any presents. His parents didn't forget about him. Their dismembered bodies were lying under the Christmas tree. Someone sent me a video from an unknown phone number. In the video, I was in Moscow, laughing and filming myself, saying how amazing the city was. Then the video suddenly changed. Another clip appeared. In it, someone cut my throat. Thinking it was a stupid prank, I called the number back. A robotic female voice answered, "This number does not exist." The next morning, my boss called me into his office. He told me I had been assigned to a business trip to Moscow, and suddenly, I really don't want to go. I went to the hospital with appendicitis. When I woke up after surgery, the doctors had accidentally amputated both of my legs. Night hides many things, whispers in empty rooms, footsteps behind closed doors, shadows that move when they shouldn't, and sometimes the most terrifying stories are only 2 sentences long. So tonight, when you turn off the lights and climb into bed, listen carefully, because someone might already be whispering, "Good night," and this time, they might be standing right behind you.